Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to be talking about Nintendo Switch news and some Super 7 news. So let's get started right now. So we're going to first start with Super 7 and the layoffs. Yes, I made a video about this already, but the very next day after that video, this popped up all over social media. It's a letter to the supporters. Now, the supporters would be you and me, the ones that buy the product. Now, in this article, it is talking about the layoffs and why it happened. Well, as we all know, tariffs in China were 145%, and when Super 7 found out about it, not only did they shut down their factories in China, but they also shut down their business here in America for a few days. And it really sucks. So what they decided was 145% tariffs would change the product to like, said it's $55, $60 to almost like 100 and something dollars for the consumer. And they're trying to figure out ways around that. So the best way to do that, in their opinion, was to lay off workers. Now, the workers wasn't just in California. They actually were in 16 different states. So that was a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, and it sucked. But like in this article, it says, the tariffs not only affect the business, but affect us, the consumer. And also on the bottom of the article, it talks about what Super 7 is planning on doing in the future. So basically, they're going to be downsizing what they make. So basically, if you are been collecting Thundercats, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, anything that's a big name license, it's a possibility that they're going to go bye-bye. And it really sucks. So they're going to probably be keeping for sure Godzilla because that's one of the biggest IPs they have. You know, I'm not going to say they're gone forever. I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying right now, since they downsize, they're gone for now. So be prepared that maybe this would be the last 2003 Turtle wave or the last Thundercats wave, or Broken Skull for me would have been the last Power Ranger wave. So yeah, it sucks that they're downsizing again. So they went from a small company with a magazine to a large company with all these cool IPs down to a small company again. Now, hopefully, they bring out another letter talking about what IPs they're keeping and which ones they're getting rid of. But like I said, the article is on the screen for you guys to read, and I hope you guys understand that Super 7 is doing their best to stay afloat, and hopefully in the future they can keep continuing the lines that people love. And yeah, let's move on to some Nintendo Switch 2 news. The Switch 2 launch day is coming up very soon. Places like GameStop and Best Buy have announced they're going to have units in store on day one. Now let's start with GameStop. So they posted this on their website. Didn't pre-order? Now to me that's insulting because I tried my best, and I know you guys out there tried your best, and GameStop only has so many in-store per store, and online ran out real fast. But anyways, it also says additional Switch 2 units will be available in-store and online at launch while supplies last. Well, the cool thing is what they're actually doing. So they're having a launch event beginning in-store at 3 p.m. local time. So what does that mean? That means you theoretically are having a second pre-order without having a second pre-order. Basically, you can be in there at 3 p.m. local time to buy your Nintendo Switch 2, but you cannot pick it up until 12 a.m. Eastern time or 9 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, you can go in at your GameStop and pre-order your Switch for a few hours later on that day. So that's pretty cool. And you can read down below about, getting 40% off extra with trade-in credit and blah, blah, blah. But what is Best Buy doing? Well, Best Buy has announced if you buy a Switch 2 on launch day, there is a special collector's item you're going to be getting. Well, what is that collector's item? We have no idea. Best Buy didn't say anything. But I still think it's cool because that gives you the option of going to Best Buy and maybe getting, some kind of like coin or poster or something. I remember a lot of consoles that came out of GameStop that would have something special with it, or video games that used to come with something special. That is awesome. So if you're a big Best Buy fan, your location is going to have Switch 2s on hand. Excuse me, guys. Go to Best Buy, get that special limited edition, whatever it is. You'll have something special, not just a bundle, but something free to go along with it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Costco. Costco is also doing a bundle situation. So it has Mario Kart World, but it also has a year of Nintendo Online service. Yes, now I did not get a price on that on the Costco website, but it is going to be in store only, I believe, or maybe you can ship it to home, but still, it's Costco. You need a membership to do this. And so if you don't have a membership, that's going to cost you $50 for the membership plus the Nintendo Switch 2. So yeah, that one's a little bit more pricey, but we also know Walmart is going to have some Nintendo Switch 2s. Target is too on launch day. So there are still possibilities you guys out there, me and myself included, will be able to get a Nintendo Switch 2 on day one through these companies. So don't be disappointed because you didn't get your pre-order in. You will still have the chance to get a Nintendo Switch 2 on day one. Next up, we're going to be talking about the biggest rumor going around the Nintendo Switch 2 community at the moment. What is this rumor? Well, the Nintendo Switch 2 OLED? That's right. So Nintendo brought out the Nintendo Switch OLED, and when this came out, this is what people were asking for day one, and it was fantastic. It was a nice upgrade, made people happy. A little more expensive than the original Nintendo Switch, but well worth it. I bought it when it first came out. Now, how did this rumor get started? Well, Bloomberg announced Nintendo turns to Samsung to make chips, wrapping up Switch 2 output. So when you say output, they're just meaning to the companies so customers can have in hand. But how did this rumor get started? Well, later on, people are saying that Samsung is asking Nintendo to put the OLED screen on a revision of the Nintendo Switch 2. That's fine, but a lot of people say it's not necessary. The LCD screen is beautiful, it looks amazing, and we don't need an OLED screen. And then you got the other hand saying it'd be kind of nice to have an OLED screen, but I haven't got a chance to play yet, guys, so I don't know. I will compare when I have it in hand to this OLED screen to the LCD screen, and that will let me know sort of what a Nintendo Switch 2 could look like with an OLED screen. But honestly, I don't think it needs it. What I've heard about the LCD screen, it is amazing. So let's move on to the next topic of the day. We're going to be talking about the CEO of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford. He was at an IGN panel the other day, and a fan jumped up to the mic and told him, not asked him, but told him that Borderlands 4 better not be an $80 game. Randy Pitchford rebutted with this. He said, "Not my call." The next thing he said was, back in 1991, Street Fighter for Sega Genesis was an $80 game, and me working at a minimum wage job, I found a way to do it. So if you're a real fan, you will find a way to buy an $80 game. Me personally, I think that is a crappy way of talking to a fan about income, because 1991 minimum wage versus 2025 minimum wage as an adult is hard, especially where I live in Washington. Most rent is $1,200 or more. So being able to afford an $80 game on minimum wage is almost impossible. Now, if you're making, more than minimum wage, fine, perfect. $80 game ain't gonna matter to you. That's gonna be great. But for someone that's in a house or in an apartment that has to pay rent, electricity, and so on, $80 is a lot of money for a fan. I don't care if it's a Mario game, Zelda game, Borderlands 4, or whatever, Silent Hill, whatever game comes out. $80 is a big deal to a lot of people right now. But I get his concept. If you're a real fan, you're going to buy it no matter what. But at the same point, he was very rude to this fan, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, leave a comment down below. Would you, as a person, like to hear from a CEO that back in his day, $80 for a game wasn't a big deal? He found a way. Or would you rather hear him say something like, well, I don't have the ability to price the games. It depends on the development. It depends on how long it took the developers to make it work. It took to get the game out and about to these different platforms. Not just my past history in 1991, $80 was a lot, but I found a way on a minimum wage job. It doesn't work that way in 2025, in my opinion. So leave comments down below, and if you like this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you might like this video over here. Peace.